So I went ahead and started the recording, and I want to first say tonight, this is what is so amazing about the community that is Scentsy, is that we have, I mean, in my eyes, two Scentsy celebrities on the call tonight. We have Jill here watching, and Jill messaged me and was like, can I watch Rachel? I was like, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, Jill.
So, which is so funny because you did the exact same thing to me today, Rachel, because Rachel is training for us tonight, and then I'm training for you. When is it? What day? Monday.
Next Monday.
So I'm training for Rachel. And so she said, oh, people were asking if they could sneak on the call when you do it for me. And I'm like, well, people are wanting to sneak on the call when you do it for us. And so this is just...
It just makes it easier. And I think the more people, the better. You know what I mean? Like there comes an energy that just makes it so much more fun.
100%. And so this is what I love about the community that we call Scentsy, is that it doesn't matter what team you're on. It doesn't matter whose group. It doesn't matter what. We're all in to make each other better. And the success of each of you helps my success as well. And it helps Scentsy as a whole. And I love that that is the culture that Scentsy provides and that we all uphold. So welcome, everybody. I appreciate you getting on. It looks like everybody's muted. If you're not muted, go ahead and mute your line for me. Or actually, I can mute everybody. So I will do that. And I'm going to call on my resident expert, Jill. How do I make just the speaker for the recording? Just the speaker?
Your top right hand corner, not where the participants are, but you'll see view.
Yeah.
Or on her face, like see on her screen, there's 3 little dots.
Yes.
And you just hit pin. And then when Rachel starts speaking, it should be just her screen so that when you record it.
Perfect. Okay. So I just tested it and now. So that will put, okay. So when I pin her, then you will be able to see her. That's what I want to do. I'm not going to take up any more time. I appreciate you getting on tonight. I'm Melissa Gratz. If you don't know me, my team and group in collaboration with Andrea Hatch, Superstar Director, and Superstar Director Tammy Frazier. We are in one group together, and all of you, welcome. We appreciate you and are so glad that you're here, but I'm not going to take up any more time. I'm going to turn it over to our special guest. And Rachel, if you could I would love for you to introduce yourself, give us a little piece of who you are. And I did tell some people ahead of time that about when we met in Africa, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you started that journey out as a certified consultant, and then we were in Africa together. So if you could give everybody just a little piece of who you are and then take it away. We're talking about sponsoring this month. So.
All right. Can you hear me? Do I have okay service? Okay, I live in the middle of nowhere. So if I start to break up, just be like, hey, Rachel, you need to go inside, because I will. But I'm super excited to talk to you guys today. Okay, hang on, let me get my screen back. Okay, so a little bit about my story. So when I started Scentsy was February of 2016. So I'm still a baby in Scentsy land. I didn't start at the beginning. I didn't start when Scentsy first started or anything like that. I started obviously 4.5 years ago. So I would assume probably a lot more recent than a lot of you guys. And I joined Scentsy, which I'll make this quick, but I joined Scentsy because my goal was to make a couple $100 a month to pay for preschool for my 2 middle boys at the time. At the time, we had 4 kids. And I joined Scentsy so that I could pay for their preschool. I had quit my job as a school nurse the year prior when my 4th kid at the time was born. And it didn't make sense for me to work anymore. So I had quit my job and I was home and we were okay. But when I say okay, I mean, I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have my own car. We were down to the least expense that we could possibly find. The only time I bought anything for myself was when we got our tax return, because it was the only time we had a little bit of extra money. We were that broke. I don't want to say poor because we weren't. We had plenty of everything. We were fine. We were comfortable, but we didn't have anything extra. And I decided to join Scentsy so that I could pay for preschool because I knew that there was no way that we could afford another $300-400 a month when my 2 middle boys started preschool. So I was like, hey, I can do like a couple $100 a month. Like I could totally make that every month. And then all of a sudden I went from February 28th when I joined that day. And then in March, I sold like $5,000 and had 3 people on my team already by the end of the month. And I was like, wow, like this is actually like this, I could do this. So I was okay. I don't want to say I was great by any means when I first started, and I'm not great by any means now, but I wasn't great by any means. I was somebody that I would have started monitoring numbers, but I didn't promote to director in a month or 2 months or anything crazy like that. And I kind of coasted the next couple months. I went from 3 in my first month of March to a team of 10. I hit 10 at my first ever reunion that July in Nashville. And I remember that so specifically because I got a reinstatement. We were there and it was number 10, double digits. I felt like I was 9.5, about to turn 10 again. And I was so excited that we hit double digits while I was there. And these girls walked the stage and I was like, well, first they started calling me Shining Star. And I was like, what the heck is a Shining Star? Like, what are these people doing? And who knew that I would have so many Shining Star friends? But then they said annual mentor, annual sales. And I was sitting next to a girl and I was like, well, now what's that? Like, I was clueless. I knew no one. I went knowing no one. I met up with a couple girls the morning before we left and said, hey, I guess I'll stay with you. Knew no one. I had a yard sale to pay for the thing so that I had a yard sale to pay for my way to go. That thankfully was in driving distance. And I just went on a whim. I just literally just jumped in with 2 feet. And she told me my annual mentor was an annual sales. And I was like, well, I could do that. Like, I'm already halfway to annual mentor. I could do that. So that was my mission that year, was annual mentor and annual sales. And then we're sitting there and they said Africa. And I was like, nope, not for me, but it's fine. That's for other people. I'll have fun in Punta Cana. It's fine. I could totally earn that. So we start earning for Punta Cana. And then all of a sudden it's October and I promoted a director in September. And all of a sudden it's October and it says top 100 on my tracker. And I'm like, I logged into somebody else's workstation this morning. It's fine, but that's not mine. Well, it turns out it was mine and it stayed there. And I was so blessed and honored to be able to go as number 46. And I'll remember that my entire life, to Africa, and met people like Melissa and Nick and Anna and so many of my best friends in the whole world now. And I can 100% say changed my entire life being at that trip. And I remember even walking the streets of Amsterdam with Melissa and talking and realizing how much I loved Melissa because she didn't blow me off because I was being a huge nerd and talking about World War II in the middle of Amsterdam while everybody else is wanting to go do all this other fun stuff. I'm talking about history and she still loved me. And I was like, oh, she's my people. So yeah, so that was a little bit of my story getting started. Thankfully, I was able to annual mentor, and I have every year since then. And I could say it has been because of sponsoring and because I love sponsoring, and I love sponsoring because I love Scentsy so much and I want everybody to do this. I'm one of those, I'm a type 7 personality, and all it takes is for you to hang out with me once for me to anything I want to do. I want everybody to go. Like, I want all of you guys to go. Like, you want to go to Target tomorrow? I'll call 15 friends because I want everybody to go with me. Because that's just the type 7 personality I am. Anywhere we go, I'm going to peer pressure you to come with me to go do whatever I'm doing because I just want everybody to go and I think it's fun. And that's the same way with Scentsy. I love Scentsy. So I want everybody I know to do Scentsy because why not? It's fun. We make great money. Why not? So I love sponsoring. It's the part I love the most. It's let me be the butterfly effect, the beginning of a butterfly effect to bless so many lives. And I couldn't ask for a better job or a better thing to do with my life than this. But how do I do it? How am I sponsoring people, especially this many years in? And I can tell you that at the beginning, I started with people I knew personally. I started with people, my first couple recruits. I got my first recruit actually at my launch party. And it was people that I knew personally at the very, very beginning. The first, probably up until that 10 were people that I knew personally. And then I started to have home parties all the time. That's how I started my business, which I know that the world's a little different today, but I started to do home parties and I started to meet their friends, and then their friends started to join. And then I started to do online parties and friend all of their friends. And then their friends started to join, and all of the things. It was a butterfly effect. It was a ripple. So I can tell you one of my biggest tips for you to consistently sponsor is to party. is to party and party consistently and flip, flip, flip. If you can't flip, still party. And why I say that is because the big, huge golden nugget secret weapon to this business is growing your network. However you need to do it, however you need to expand your friend base, your customer base, your people base, your friends on Facebook base, your Instagram follower base, whatever you're doing, expanding that network is the golden nugget secret weapon to this business. And you want to do it all the time. And I started mine with parties and being intentional with those parties. And if I met them it was an in-person party, which I hope some of you guys are able to do COVID parties with masks and all the things, but hopefully we're starting to get normal again soon. So when we can do home parties again, I would leave that home party and in my car before I would pull a driveway over so they didn't think I was a weirdo, not driveway, but a street over so they didn't think I was a weirdo. And I would open up my phone and I would friend every single person I met at that party very intentionally. And I did it every single time within 10 minutes of me leaving that party. So they still knew who I was, they still liked me, and they still would accept my friend request. And then the same thing with online parties. When I'm doing an online party, as soon as I'm done with that online party, I friend all of those people on Facebook. Why I do that is to expand my network. I'm not friending them and then cold messaging them and asking them to join my team. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm friending them and then I'm liking their posts. I'm commenting on their posts. I'm getting to know them, finding out how many kids do they have? What's their kids' names in a not creepy way? All of the things to get to know them, to build an authentic, legit relationship with them. And I do that super intentionally all the time. If I get a random PWS order from Scentsy.com or a referral or whatever else, immediately I send a text message. I don't send a text message and ask them to join my team. I send them a text message and I invite them. First, I thank them and then I invite them to my VIP group. I do that almost immediately within 24 hours of getting that PWS order. I always send a text message. If it's a new customer, I also always invite them to my VIP group so that I can start to build those relationships and get to know them and they can see me and I can see them and all of the things. And I can tell you that all of the recruits, not all of their, I don't want to say all of the recruits, but probably close to half of the recruits I get every year are from doing things like that. Because I met somebody, they had a party, then I met somebody and they had a party, and then I met somebody and they had a party, and so on and so forth. And it just butterfly effect rippled down the line over and over again. And it's what I do to this day still, all the time. I'm utilizing everything I can for my business. I don't want to say, I would never say, I am genuinely not the best at anything in Scentsy, but I can say that I give everything a good Boy Scouts try. Everything, regardless of what it is, regardless of if it's events, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, home parties, online parties, basket parties. If you can name it, I've tried it because I'll try anything once to a certain extent. I'll try almost anything once. But when it comes to Scentsy, I will try anything once. And some things have worked, some things haven't worked, and that's okay. But I'm still trying because I'm always trying to build my network, regardless of what the sector it's in. So I'm always meeting these new people. When you go to the store, market yourself. You're the biggest, oh, sorry guys, somebody's messaging me and distracting me. But when you go to the store, you are your own poster child. You are your own poster board. You need to be wearing your Scentsy gear, wearing your Scentsy shirt, taking your Scentsy purse, whatever, one thing at a time so that it's not super crazy, but advertising yourself, marketing yourself when you go out in places. So people say, oh, you're a Scentsy lady? My Scentsy lady just quit. Do you know how many times I've heard that? So many times I can't count, and I can guarantee almost everybody has. When you wear something out in public, people all the time will stop you in the line at Home Goods, which happens a lot. And they'll say, oh my God, my Scentsy lady doesn't live here anymore, or whatever else. And that's where you can start to build a relationship. That's where you don't say, oh, well, you should become a Scentsy lady. That's where you say, oh my God, let me add you in my phone and I'll send you a text. That's when you add them to your VIP group, add them on Instagram, add them on Facebook, whatever it is. And then another really great thing that I do to expand that customer base is using social media. And we're not going to go really, really far in because it's a really, really big thing and lots of information, but I do utilize Instagram and Facebook a lot. I look at my Facebook and I know this isn't directly sponsoring, but it's all connected. I promise you guys, you have to build your network or you're not going to sponsor. I promise. And my Facebook, I utilize it as my family book pretty much. That's where I have my family and my close friends and people that are usually in my area. I'm not finding people from all over the world on Facebook. And number one, you have 5,000 people on Facebook that you can friend, and that's it. You tap out. Instagram is where I'm finding the people from all over the world. YouTube, you could find people from all over the world. But Facebook is your friends and family book. Facebook is not meant for you to find everybody all over the place because you're going to run out of space. Friend, when you see somebody that's got 15 mutual friends, heck yeah, friend them, get to know them. But that's not where you're going to find people that you've never met, that you have zero connectors with anywhere in the world. But utilize all those social media outlets. Utilize your business page on Facebook. Your business page, you can have unlimited followers on your business page. Utilize that. You're also Googleable with your business page. I personally, and this is something that obviously you have to do when it's within your means with your business, but I boost every single licensed product ad. I don't boost any other ads on my business page, but I do boost licensed product ads. And I can say I've gained a handful of new recruits in the last 2 years since I've started doing that. Every time we have a Jack, every time we have a Villains, every time we have a Cinderella, whatever else it could be, I boost ads there. And you could start with $10 or $5. You don't have to spend a ton of money. Honest to God, I had just as many results with boosting like $15 with Jack last year as I did boosting like $100 this year. I didn't have any more results, I promise. It's just identifying those people that you want it to market to. And that's where you choose what's it called? Jill, what is it called on there? Where you choose the demographics more or less. You can choose what they like, what they're following, things like that. And then Scentsy, Facebook is going to push your ad to them. So when it's something like Jack, and I'm spilling all my secrets, so I'm not going to get any orders next year because you guys are going to get them all. But when I'm doing Jack, I'll go on there and I'll post Tim Burton, and I'll look up that people who like Tim Burton, people who like Jack Skellington, people who like Hocus Pocus, people who like all of those very specific things. So I did the same thing with Villains. I went in and I looked up Disney princesses, Walt Disney World, Walt Disney Studios, Disney Springs, Hollywood Studios, all of those things that anybody that likes Villains could remotely like. I went in and made that one of the demographics for that, to where it'll push that ad to them. And then they're going to hopefully buy the product, become one of my customers. I'm going to build a relationship, and they're hopefully going to join. And I've done that multiple times this year. If I had a list, which I don't have a list because I never write anything down, I could tell you I've had at least 5 in the last since Cinderella, both Jack releases, and whatever else we've had. So I've had it. I can promise 100% it works. So if there's anything that you're going to invest money into as far as things like that, I would 100%, even if it's only $5, licensed ads. I've not had any real success with just like a salt lamp warmer. I've honestly not had very much success on there, but I have with licensed things for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I can really, really, really pinpoint that demographic when it's a licensed item, and that's probably really what it is. But I love doing that. I love, like I said, utilizing the social media, having relationships with these people, and then just putting it in their ear every once in a while. It doesn't, you don't want to be annoying. And one thing I'm going to tell you too is every time that you have any Scentsy conversation, if it doesn't fit in one sentence, your approach, your beginning message, if it doesn't fit in one sentence, throw it all out and start over. Because if it's more than one sentence, they're not going to care what you have to say. I promise. I know it sounds harsh, but I promise you they're going to move on to the next because they're not going to care. Keep it at one sentence and keep it simple. When I'm talking to people about joining my team, I'm be like, have you ever considered Scentsy? Or I'll say, you should try what I do. That's one of my big go-tos. When I see somebody saying, oh, does anybody know of any part-time jobs? Does anybody have anybody that's hiring? Anything like that? I'll comment on it, but I never say, I'm a Scentsy lady. Here's my Scentsy link. I say, you should try what I do. I don't say anything else. I want them to look, approach me, see what I do. I want to add a little bit of mystery. I want them to get curious about what I'm doing, and it's worked. One of my directors came that way. So I promise you it works. So pay attention to those. Pay attention to those on your buy, sell, trade pages, your yard sale pages, your community pages, all of those things. Only say, you should try what I do. Super, super simple. So I do that a lot to get recruits, not a lot, but if the opportunity presents itself, I keep things super simple. Every single host I have, I offer to flip them. And I hope you guys know this, but every single party you closed, if you're struggling to earn this incentive or to have the sponsoring points or to recruit or earn a mentor or anything else, I want you to make a goal that you're not going to close any party without a party attached to it, a host kit attached to it. Every single party, it doesn't have to be that host. Secret, you may not know this, but it doesn't have to be that host. All you have to do is leave $1 on there. And if you can leave $1 on there, then you can add a host enrollment kit. And then that person can join for $59 with that host enrollment kit. Every single party, make that a mission that you're going to promise yourself to not close any party. And how are you going to do that? One of the ways that I do that is, again, another social media post. If you can't tell, I use social media for my entire business all the time. But another social media post I'll make often is kind of reverse psychology. Do you know anybody, I'll post, do you know anybody that I can bless with a discounted Scentsy kit this month? I don't say, do you want a discounted Scentsy kit? I'll say, do you know anyone? What I want them to do is either A, to tag people, or B, to think like, well, I want it. Like, why does she get it? I want it. Do you know what I mean? I want to use that reverse psychology and say that. So I say that all the time. Every single time I close a party, I'm doing that. What I also want you to do is, if you're struggling to recruit, is I want you to make a list. Write down 10 names of people that you think would be good at this, whether they've done another direct selling business, whether they're a real estate agent, whether they're whatever you think that they would be, whether they're great at social media. I want you to put their name on a list and keep them in mind and start dropping hints. Shoot them a message and say, hey, I know you've done unique before and it kind of fell through, and I have a free Scentsy kit available, or a discounted Scentsy kit. Would you want it? Super simple. I have a discounted Scentsy kit available. Do you want it? It's that simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Make a list, start dropping hints for them. And obviously, most importantly, like we said, build that relationship. Don't cold message them. Make sure I said just message them, but that's after the fact if you've already built a relationship. That's not the first message that ever shows up in your messages to them. That's after you've built a relationship with them, and offer it to everybody. The people that you least expect will be successful in this business will be, and the people you expect will be the best will be the worst. It always happens all the time. Don't knock anybody out because of whatever reason. Give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And remember, you're blessing people with the opportunity of Scentsy. You're not burdening anyone. And that was one thing that I had to personally get through as a newer consultant, is I kind of felt like a burden. And I kind of felt like I was annoying people by asking people. But when you flip that mentally and you decide that you're not annoying anyone, you're blessing people, that we have the best job in the entire world. And who are we to not tell people about it? Who are we not to offer this job to people for? It's not that's not for us to decide. It's for us to offer it, and then for them to be able to tell us no. And they're going to tell you no. You're going to hear it all the time. If I wrote down, if I had wallpaper in here that had written down how many times I've heard the word no, I would have 4 sheds wallpaper, at least 4. I hear it all the time. You know what I do? I say, okay, I get over it. I don't let it stop me. I don't let it stop my business. I don't let it make it prevent me from asking the next person, because again, I'm blessing people with the opportunity to be a Scentsy consultant. I'm not burdening them. And I'm doing it all the time. I'm being consistent with my business. Consistency is key. I'm not doing my business 1 week and then not doing it for 3 weeks. And granted, the last 2 days I've had a heyday doing all the things that I like and having a good time. But guess what? I've already scheduled myself to work all day the next 3 days, because I know, and you don't have to do it that serious. I'm not saying you need to be working full-time hours, but I'm saying I'm consistent with my business. Have fun, take days off, but remember, you have got to be consistent with this. You need to be consistent with your systems. So like I said, every time that I get a PWS order, I shoot them a text message. It's something super easy that I do, but it's super beneficial that I do. I send every single person that I get a PWS order from, I send them thank you mail. I have these made out because I know I'm busy, and I know if I don't make these samples, literally before I got on this call, it's open still. I made a bunch of Scentsy Fresh samples. It's deciding you're going to do it when it's hard. Guys, it's 9:30, what? It's 9:40 my time. I have 5 kids. We've had football practice and soccer practice. I made tacos. I made stinking cinnamon twists from Taco Bell. We won't get started on that. Melissa, you're going to have to check my live feed because it was really good. But I did all of the things today, and I still came out here and I still busted out some samples. I still cut some wax samples. I still did the basics of working my business, and I still did it consistently, even when maybe I didn't want to. Maybe I was tired. I still did it. And I'm still living my life very intentionally. It's not just about warmers and wax. It's about showing people how Scentsy has blessed our lives in other ways than warmers and wax, whether it's through friendships, whether it's through the freedom of time. And that's what I will tell people all day. My goal with Scentsy is freedom. My goal with Scentsy isn't to make $1 million. A lot of money really, really scares me. Remember, this girl was poor. A lot of money is scary for me. My goal with Scentsy is freedom. I want to be able to do whatever I want, when I want, no strings attached, and nobody to tell me no. That is my goal. I want my husband to be able to do that. And guess what? My next goal is I want my kids to be able to do that when they're adults. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is through this business. And then all the other ventures that this business is going to take me down the road. And I just decided I'm going to do it. And that's my goal. And I'm sharing that all of the time. I'm sharing all of the things that I love about this business, the things that it allows me to do, the ridiculous Target shopping trips that I get to do every Tuesday. I get to do that because of Scentsy. Target Tuesday has nothing to do with Scentsy realistically, but it has everything to do with Scentsy because the freedom that I have because of Scentsy allows me to not to buy a Target Tuesday. I'll spend $20, but to go to Target Tuesday every single Tuesday because it's my life, it's my freedom, and I get to do that. So sharing those things to where people want to do what you're doing. Make people want your job, whether it's your team, whether it's your people that's following you on social media, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's your sister. You want everybody to want your job. So don't complain anywhere. Keep the negativity off social media. And we're in a really heated political time. Keep it off of social media because I know that you could say, I could care less who you vote for. I still am going to love you. A lot of people aren't like that. And a lot of people will see that you support someone other than them or that you are talking a lot about it on social media or something, and they're not going to want anything to do with you. It's the unfortunate part of life today, but it's the way it is. Politics don't go on social media. Things like that don't belong. They just do not. Negativity does not belong. You want people to want your life. You want people to want your job. And that's how you're going to sponsor consistently. I just went on the biggest wind of my life. Ask me a question now, so I have something else to say.
No, because you are amazing. You're amazing. And anybody's head spinning because you're like, how am I going to absorb this information?
No, I'm sorry.
No, you know what? Your passion and your excitement is what you just beam. You beam. And don't you find that even though she was talking fast, you're like, okay, I don't want to miss a single thing that she said. No. Do not apologize. I'm saying you don't. It was like a lean in, like I don't want to miss anything that you had to say. Couple things I wanted to ask you was, when you say to somebody, why don't you try, how did you word it? Why don't you try what I do?
Yep.
What do you say after that?
I wait for them to initiate something afterwards. Usually they'll comment in the past, they'll comment or respond or whatever and say, well, what do you do? Or like, oh, do you do Scentsy or something like that? And then that's when I'll private message them and say, hey, yeah, I'm a superstar director with Scentsy or whatever. Keep it short and sweet. Yeah, I do Scentsy and I absolutely love it. Or you don't even have to bring up Scentsy. A lot of times, and I hate to say it like that because I feel like it almost makes it sound like I don't like Scentsy because I love Scentsy, but I know the rest of the world and how they feel about network marketing and direct selling. So a lot of times I won't even mention Scentsy. I'll be like, hey, I work from home. Say the things like that. I wish I could literally pull up a message and tell you guys, but hey, I work from home. I'm able to stay with my kids. I work in direct sales, something along those lines. A lot of times I won't even say the company until we actually get in a conversation because I don't want to immediately turn them off. Yeah. And I know it would never turn me off, but it does other people.
But that's what I think is what's so difficult so many times is that we know what to do first. It's what to do next where we get roadblocked or hung up. Like we know that we have a host exclusive kit to offer, but we don't know how to offer it or we know that we shouldn't close a party without offering it to somebody, maybe if it's not even the hostess, but how do you approach that? So that I guess would be another question is how would you go about if I'm your hostess and let's just say Jill is a guest at my party or Jill's not a guest at my party. I'm your hostess and Jill is somebody on your list of 10. Mm-hmm. That you are like, ooh, if I have an extra kit, I would love to offer it to Jill. How would that look? How would you present it to me? And when I decline, how would you present it to Jill?
first, when I offered it to my host, one of the things that I do that I think is a huge push for my hosts that I honestly rarely hear no, is I straight up tell them how much money they're going to make. If they're having a $500 party, I'll say you're going to make $100. It's that simple. Most of them don't say no when you say you're going to make $100. I tell them exactly what they're going to get. Because the conversation always comes up. These are your host rewards. I'll show them both host rewards. This is what you're going to get regularly, or you could make $100 and this, so that they know both options. And remember, when you're telling them that, that you're going to make $100, of course, that $59 is being removed from the host credit, but then you're being able to offer them an additional half off because of the perpetual host reward. So I'll straight up tell them you're going to get for a $500 party, for instance, I'll say you're going to get 4 half off items. You're going to get like 20 something bucks in host credit, and you're going to make $100 cash and be a Scentsy consultant for free. That simple. I make it sound like they just won the stinking lottery because I asked them. Super short and sweet. Offer them both options, but make it short and sweet.
And when they say, I'm not interested in being a consultant. I don't know enough people. I'm not good enough. I wouldn't really be good at it. The best response to that is, how do you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best response. When somebody comes up with an objection, the best response is, but how do you know? And I can instantly interject with my own, I was the no also.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never attended a home party, hosted a home party. If you would have told me 15 years ago, I'd be doing a home party type business, I would have told you you're crazy. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't discount myself right from the start because I didn't know. So how do you know? You don't have anything to lose if you're going to make $100 plus get some free product you don't know. So if I decline, then what would you say to Jill, who's on your prospect list? Because you now have this kit available for $59.
That's when that reverse psychology I brought up really, really comes in handy. Is to message Jill and be like, hey, Jill, if she's the one that's great at social media, because she is. Hey, Jill, I know you're really great on Instagram and Facebook and have a ton of friends. I was wondering if you know anybody I could bless with a discounted Scentsy kit this Christmas or this month or whatever, something like that, where hopefully Jill says, oh, actually, what is that? I'll take it. But if she doesn't, maybe she can at least point you in the right direction. You've started that conversation and kind of take it off from there. That's where I've had a lot of success, is reversing that on them, not asking them if they want it, but if one of their friends wants it.
Yeah. And what I love what you did is that you complimented Jill first, and you didn't even if you didn't realize it, but you complimented her first by saying, I know you are really good at social media. I know you have a wide network. I know that you, whatever. You said something about her first. Also, by offering the kit to Jill, what was I going to say? I lost it. Darn it. Okay. Anybody have any question? Let's put it in the chat, or no, go ahead. Come on, unmute yourself if there's anything that you want to ask Rachel. One question that did come in from the chat is, how are you getting a party? And boy, that to me is the most elementary of all of our elementary things. And that is by no means, calling you out for asking that question. I love that you asked that question, but don't you think that just like getting people to join your business, you have to ask them to have parties? Gone are the days of the line of people that are saying, can I book a party with you? Can I book a party with you? Can I book a party with you? But the opportunities are endless for us to turn people into parties.
Yeah,
right?
Every single order should be being asked.
Every single order.
Every single time.
And if you follow Rachel, I've been following her since the May whatever. And when she replies back to me, I feel like a superstar has replied. And she's like, you go, girl, sister. I was like, you're trying to take the paycheck. But if you follow her and Jilly Sue, you can see that they're consistent, that they share product. It's not Scentsy product all the time. They're so full of it. And I'm so excited because Rachel and I's join date is in the same month, same year. and we're both 7s. So no wonder I connect with her. So if you're following people, the biggest thing is if you got to dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. And the biggest thing is if you're struggling with some of those things, start following some of these people and learn some of their tricks to make it look so organically online that it's not like you're pushing Scentsy. If you look at some of her past stories or her past feeds and her thing, you'll be like, oh my God, this chick likes to decorate. Or she's able to go to Target every Tuesday. And then Annette's typing, where did you get that? And then I realized when you listen to the video, oh, it was at Target. So if you're in this group and you're thinking, I can't do this, I'm going to tell you, yes, you can. Because exactly how Melissa said it, if you're showing fun, following Becker, did you not want to like have a party with her today when she showed off her tree that she got that half of us didn't get because she ordered it because Nataka showed her? I think the biggest thing is that if you look for ways to grow yourself and you're not growing in the circle that you're in, you need to look outside that circle and make sure you're filling your cup up.
Yeah,
I love that.
Thank you, Annette.
I love that. I remembered something I wanted to add, by the way, when I went on my huge long-winded thing.
It's so funny because Rachel, like I said in the chat, I don't know if you guys saw, I follow very few Scentsy people, and I follow Scentsy people that are either my friends, like I've had a relationship with, or they're sharing value. And that's the key. If you can take out of your head that you're selling Scentsy, that's just a tiny little piece, but you're just sharing things that are part of your life. Those are connectors. That's what Rachel does. When she goes to Target, there's a bazillion people. There's a Target cult out there that love everything Target. There's Target Instagram accounts that are just all Target. There's Amazon accounts. There's crafting accounts. There's everything you can possibly. So if you're posting that you're doing that stuff, you're putting the arms out, like you're you don't have just 2 arms anymore. You have like 500 that are able to reach out to all these little networks, the Target network, the Amazon network, the crafting network, the decor. Melissa and I just had this conversation. It's not about you just being braggy and like being like, oh, look at me, I went to Target. It's hoping that you can start conversations because it may start out about Target. It may start out about Rachel She Shed. It may start out about her cute bats on the wall, but it's going to turn into, hey, what's that little flower on your table? Oh, it's Scentsy. But if you never show up, I can't remember what I typed to you, Melissa, one day. Like, if you never put out stuff that you're doing, you don't give anyone a chance to have a conversation with you. And that's where all of you get awkward with sponsoring. Like, you think you have to go, hi, I started following you. Do you want to join Scentsy? And you're like, no, I'm not doing that. But none of us do that. None of us do that, especially on Instagram. We just put out all these little different feelers. And that's when people start reaching out going, oh, me too. 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 And then you have all these different conversations coming in and you just have a plethora of people talking to you. But if you never post anything about anything, you never have the chance to start those conversations about sponsoring. And Rachel does a fabulous job sharing everything. And she has the cutest little kids in the whole wide world. Just saying.
What I wanted to add really quick though, was one of the things I've been telling my team a lot is if you're struggling to recruit, stop focusing on recruiting and start focusing on selling. Because a lot of times there's a correlation between your lack of sales and your lack of recruiting. If you're not selling enough, then you're not talking to enough people. And when I mean selling enough, it goes back to partying again. I'm not talking about the same 15 people every single month. I'm talking about expanding that to other people, to their people. And those same 15 people need to be hosting because you need to meet their friends. So.
Okay. I was trying to look for what Jill's little nuggets that she's given me. And
I can't remember my phone. It was something specific where I said like, it might be, it could, what we tend to say is everybody knows that. No one wants to hear about that. Everyone knows how to, like the Cricut seems like, look, I've had this Cricut, whatever the heck it is, sitting over there for 3 months. And like, I follow people and I watch them do the vinyls and mine's sitting there, but I just watch them in awe and I still don't use my damn thing. Like, so to people that are doing it, they're like, oh, it's easy. You just do this, not for me. It ain't easy for me. So you can't put yourself in a bubble like, oh, everybody knows that. No, everybody doesn't know that. Everybody doesn't know about adversity you've gone through, or your puppy having surgery, or that you lived on a little farm and you know, didn't have a lot of money, and you like, people don't know, but they like to watch. People are laying in bed scrolling Instagram, and they're lurkers and they're just watching. And if you don't put yourself out there, you miss the chance of not having access to 3 billion people on Instagram.
Yeah. Thanks, Jill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys, we are almost to the top of the hour. I don't want to take any more of Rachel's time. We are so gracious. So gracious. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And it's funny because you hear things and sometimes it takes hearing somebody else's delivery on it or hearing somebody else's spin on it for it to click. And I hope that for you tonight, something that Rachel said clicks with you. Do not overthink this. Rachel, if you had to sum up sponsoring in your talk and, what is the moral of the story here? Other than to make more money, you got to build your team. But other than that, what would you say is really the moral of the sponsoring story?
When you get stuck on anything in your business, you can always go back to the core values of Scentsy. And if you can use all of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity, if you can use all three of those in every aspect of your business, then you're going to do it the right way. And that goes back to sponsoring. Keep it simple, be generous, be willing to give away a free kit. You don't need $59 in free stuff. If you know that there's a single mom that just lost her job, give that lady that free kit. You don't need that $59 in free product. Okay. Be generous, keep it simple, and be authentic. Don't try to be anybody except for you. You are who people love. All of your quirks and everything. People, I have got more quirks than all of you guys all added together. And you know what? People love my stinking quirks and they will love yours too. Be authentic, be you. Nobody's better at that than you are. And I know it doesn't sound like it's directly related to sponsoring, but I promise you it is. Keep those three in mind and yourself.
Thank you.
And consistent.